Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to compare the Corsair K95 Platinum XT, seen here on the left, with a Corsair K95 Platinum on the right. Note that the one on the right has the Corsair white PBT double shot keycaps installed on it, so that's not how you'd get it as standard. But this video will compare the various features and differences between these two keyboards. I've also done a full unboxing video of the K95 Platinum XT if you're interested in seeing it, because it is a very nice keyboard, and I'll go into a bit more depth and cover off various nice features and facets of the keyboard, as well as giving you some more shots of it and the various key sounds. The K95 Platinum XT is an updated version of the previous K95 Platinum, and it features some minor design enhancements and feature improvements, as well as the same brushed aluminium housing, premium finish, and all-round awesome quality. I really liked the original K95 Platinum, and the XT is just that little bit better and certainly worth it. I've very much been enjoying this keyboard for a number of reasons. It is feature rich but also not over the top. It has a number of different things to it that are awesome. You can see here comparison with the two. They both have a very similar look and feel to them. Corsair's essentially maintained the same design or a similar design, because the K95 Platinum original version was awesome and the XT is just as great. Both of them have the cable tidying system on the rear, as well as a clip-on wrist rest. You'll note on the XT, as seen here, that the wrist rest is now a leatherette padded wrist rest. On the previous K95 Platinum, I'll show a bit later on, it was a rubber wrist rest that was actually flippable. You could actually turn it over. And I really enjoyed that because it was easy to clean, and it also had different textures on each side, so you could change it over and adjust the comfort and style of it. This one is now padded with a very slight padding to it that adds probably a bit more comfort. I'll be honest, I wonder about how clean it's going to stay after a long bit of use. You can see the little holes in it. The previous one also got dirty though, in fairness. Here you can see it quite mucky, despite me cleaning it recently. It shows up on camera as quite awful, but it's not that bad. But you can see how it flips over and the new one doesn't, so there's no flipping over there. If you enjoyed that on the previous model, or if you've seen it and thought it was great, then you're not going to get it with the new one. You can see how dirty the old one got though, with the little holes. Not terribly easy to clean. However, one of the things I did like about it is because it's rubber, you could just take it off and go and wash it, so it was not a problem. But you can see some of the other design facets from the original K95 at the bottom here remain on the new K95 XT. It has the same sort of textured keycaps to it, although the XT does come with PBT double shot keycaps as standard, which is a nice little upgrade. But here you can see, comparison wise, you see the same volume wheel, media keys, brushed aluminium backplate, thick braided USB cable, macro keys on the side. One upgrade from the XT though is the addition of these blue S keys, textured, sloped, and a very nice swap out for the G keys. It still keeps those textured and angled WASD R and E and F keys as well, and those are very nice keys and a highlight to the design for me. Very comfortable to use. They mean for FPS gaming, for example, you can keep your fingers where they matter. You'll note they not only have a texture to them, which goes above these standard PBT double shot keycaps, but they also have a slight ridge on them. Here you can see the standard R key on the left, the textured one in the middle, and the white double shot keycap on the right, just for comparison's sake. You'll see there's a slight angle to the R key here, for example. Obviously that's on the right hand side of where you'd be stretching for, like reload, a button above F, and that sort of angle to it, and you can see it on the W as well, means that your fingers, it's easier to recognize without looking where your fingers are, and your fingers are less likely to slip off those keys in important moments during gaming. And it's a simple little design that I really like. You don't often see elsewhere on other keyboards. It's a really nice addition. You don't have to use it. You still have the standard keys you need to remove and install these, They are easy to install and remove as well, so obviously you can keep the other ones on hand and you can swap them out whenever you feel like it. You also get some different shape ones. The D key, for example, has different angles on it, so you can choose the setup and the way you want it. The quality of the keycaps is undeniably good though. One thing I did note in the unboxing video that I did is that the RGB light bleed is sometimes not as good from these PBT because they're a bit thicker and a better quality, but they don't let as much light through, so some of the lettering on the keys isn't as bright as it was on the previous K95. It's a minor niggle. If you're looking for RGB lighting, the K95 Platinum XT probably isn't the very best. However, it does have per key illumination and you can do it across the entirety of the keyboard. I'm also going to include in the description below the full specifications of both keyboards so you can compare them and get an idea of what they're like. I have the blue switches. These are Cherry MX RGB switches. You can see on the left the original K95, on the right the XT with the blue switches. The housing is very similar. They both have a similar amount of light bleed from them. They're both very comfortable keyboards to use. Those blue switches are quite loud but very satisfying. The K95 XT is also perhaps a bit more responsive than the previous K95 in my experience and humble opinion, and I found that I had a problem with the original K95 where sometimes some key presses would register more than once, and it was more of a problem with typing and writing during the day than with gaming, but I found that sometimes the key presses would double or triple up. I've not had that problem with the XT. The XT is better, more accurate, and gives a better experience. Now, interesting point will be to see how the keys stand up. You see over time, this is the original K95. The A has worn out slightly, the W keys are getting a bit tatty, the D and S lettering is coming off. Heavy use, well-loved keyboard, used quite a lot. Obviously, I could swap back to the original keys if I wanted to, but just show that these wear out over time. The new XT model has those PBT double shot keycaps. Be interesting to see if the lettering holds up, is any more resilient over time. This gets a lot of use. I use these keyboards all day long for working. I work from home, I'm very fortunate, and then in the evening I'm playing as well, so they get a lot of use, probably more use than your average gamer, but you know, they're worn out, so it'll be interesting to see how the K95 Platinum XT keys hold up over time. But out of the box they are noticeably better quality because they are that PBT designed to them. And as I said when I first started out with this video, the K95 Platinum XT only has some minor changes. As you can see, the very small changes here. You have those blue macro keys, the S keys, that you can swap out for the G keys. You have the new design on the wrist rest. You have the double shot keycaps. You can see the slight texture on here, but otherwise they've mostly maintained the same solid design, aesthetic and features from the original K95, and for me that's a good thing. You've taken a high quality foundation and built upon it, got rid of the problem with the extra presses that was registering, but maintained things that I really enjoy. I really like having dedicated media keys, not having macro keys and things assigned to other keys. So you have dedicated macro keys, you have your media keys, you don't have to do any double key presses or anything. There's no pressing a function key and having to press one of the F keys in order to skip music or something simple like that. It's all there. You have a profile switching button on the top that you can switch between various profiles that you can set up in the Corsair iCue software. You have the lighting switching button, you have the button to disable your Windows key when you're gaming. The K95 Platinum is one of my favourite keyboards. The K95 Platinum XT is now my new favourite, replacing that. They are both fantastic. You can see both of them have USB pass-through on the top. You get a braided USB cable with two USB connections on it you need to plug in if you want to make use of that pass-through functionality. But you can see they both have the same USB pass-through on them, so you can easily plug in other things there. And as I said, you have the cable management channeling system underneath. Here you can see a close-up of the XT new cable design. It's labelled to tell you which one's pass-through and which one's the keyboard, so you don't have to plug both in if you don't want to, if you don't plan on using the pass-through. And here's the original one. on the right hand side, you can see the newer version, much nicer quality, better design in my mind. Doesn't look cheap in any way, looks like a more premium design, and a very nice braided cable finish to it. Corsair really likes the braided cables, and I really do too. They have a very good quality to them. It's a nice thick cable as well. Everything about the K95 in my mind is a good high quality. You're getting what you pay for. It's not cheap, but it's well worth it. Again, the same design with the volume wheel, textured volume wheel, easy access, media control buttons, play, pause, stop, skip, mute, all the goodness, easy access right there. And I listen to Spotify during the day, so it's nice to be able to just mash those keys. The textured WASD keys are a fantastic highlight to this keyboard. Something really simple, but it's nice that they've included that in the box. You don't have to get an extra purchase to get these textured keys. They just come as standard. You have the WASD, Q, E, R, F, and all the G keys that can be swapped out with these S keys with a nice blue finish to them. And that's one of the differences. On the K95 original, you only got the G keys, the standard grey that match the same as the WASD, but now you have the blue ones on the XT. All of these are programmable. You can set up macros within the iCue software. Unfortunately, I can't show you the differences on that yet because at the time of creating this video, this keyboard is not registered with iCue because it's before the embargo time and they've not given access to the software. But if it is the same setup, which I expect it is, you have per key illumination. You can program macros. You can set the keyboard up to respond the way you want it to. K95 was very customizable and in a very nice way, easy to use. Not as customizable as, say, the SteelSeries Apex Pro, where you could set per key actuation, which was just nuts. You could assign specific levels of actuation, but it's certainly very good. And I think they don't try and cram in too many bells and whistles. It's not meant to be like over the top. It just has a really solid build to it, very responsive, all the right specifications, 100% anti-ghosting and all the goodness that you need from your gaming keyboard to make sure it's responsive, accurate and comfortable. The blue switches that I've been using on here, very satisfying too. You can see the RGB lighting on the K95 Platinum XT. It's similar to the K95, the original one. Lighting's just as bright, various different modes, as I said, per key illumination, so you can set that within the iCue software. You also have light bleed around the edges, but it's not too in your face. I have a lot of lighting on to capture this video, but you can still see a good bit of lighting at night and throughout the day, but you can switch with various levels. You got a quick press on the profile button to switch between various profiles, the default lighting profiles, and then you can adjust the lighting. Both the K95 Platinum and the XT version also have that RGB light bar across the top with 19 zones of RGB goodness, and you can obviously enjoy some glorious RGB lighting there. One of the downsides I found to that is it doesn't cover the entire thing. It's not a solid strip of RGB lighting across the top. You do find there are dark spots, and that's the same on the original K95. So there's no real difference there, but I just wish it was a solid light bar, but perhaps that's just my OCD and it doesn't really matter that much. You only see it if it's reflecting off a desk or reflecting off something else, because it's at the back of the keyboard. It's just a nice bit of extra glow. A close-up view of the lighting and the RGB housing. The lighting for these key switches is actually recessed within that housing. It's not as obvious as on other keyboards, and yet it still gives off a very nice glow. And you can also see the brushed aluminium finish here, which amazingly has already picked up dust. This video was captured straight out of the box. Now you can see the RGB lighting bar along the back. Bit hard to show the darker areas, but there are areas across the entirety of the keyboard that shows you darker points. If you're interested in seeing it, as I said, I've done a full unboxing of this keyboard. I've also done another video with just the key presses, so if you want to see what the blue switches sound like and what the keys sound like, then check that out. All in all, both keyboards are very solid. The K95 Platinum XT is a very welcome addition, a very nice upgrade. If you already have the original K95, this is definitely worth it in my book. It is obviously an expensive investment if you already had the original and you're happy with it, but there are a number of nice changes, including the accuracy change, that make it worthwhile. The padded wrist rest is going to be a very nice addition, and it's very comfortable. If you're considering the K95 Platinum, you can't go wrong in my mind. Hope you found this video useful. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.